universities or colleges that are out there, if you want to give your students some joint courses, we can work with you as well. We are talking to the government to set up a 700 million euro project, which is primarily going to be a lighthouse project. And the first glimpse of that is also being replicated in Mumbai, near Thane, and I will come to that as well. So that is to be an area where all these entities actually will be housed in that physical location that I was talking about. So effectively, this is what we are looking at. Some of you are probably aware that we skill in a unique manner. In Maharashtra alone, we have 1.36 crore farmers. Now you have the agriculture universities, you have skilling, probably some courses may be available. Some entities like TIS and all that do give some courses. But what we did was we skill mass. So for example, today the government, we are the only entity in the government where the Skill Development Corporation has given us a contract to skill 300,000 farmers in one go. If you take, just to give an example, Symbiosis has an alumni of probably 300,000 over the last maybe, I don't know, 30, 35 years. In 18 months, we are scaling 300,000 people. So you need a very strong process and a robust system to actually be able to do that. But here's the rider. The government has said that if the students don't, which means the farmers don't pass 80% marks, we don't get paid. So it's imagine telling the university that if your students don't get 80%, you don't get your fees. But the bigger rider is that out of the 300,000 farmers who pass, we have to set 2,000 farmer producer companies or organizations. And if we don't do that, basically our profits will not be given to us. So it's even now worse, because it's like telling not only will you train students, they have to get 80%, but they also have to have at least 2,000 startups should be started and they have to be successful. Otherwise you don't get paid. So the government has imposed all these strange conditions, but we accepted that challenge. And to tell you the good news that we've achieved our first round already and very successful, and the government is pleasantly surprised that we've been able to deliver. So similarly, we are now saying we will train 300,000 individuals. You could be college students, you could be startups, and out of these 300,000 students, 300,000 individuals, we will help float 2,000 startups. So we'll give you funding, we'll give you the whole ecosystem, we'll channel it, we'll give you the platform, the innovation hub for the government, because we work with smart cities and in these arenas, and also for the international entities who want to come into India, and this is something we're going to launch in the next 3 to 4 months. So this is the way the programs are being now designed. We have a 1-year program where the students or you as universities can be a part of this entire program. There will be an investment opportunity. There will also be government programs where the shortlisted entities will give access to our entire ecosystem. Similarly, for the enterprise, which is the corporates, we are telling that they'll come. If you've heard of WeWork, for example, who takes up space, so you'll be given co-working spaces. There will be curated entities. Every month, a corporate will be submitting a business problem that you'll get an opportunity to solve or be a part of it. And you can participate in our tech conferences, labs, events, and so on. This was the building which is now ready in Thane. You can see this we are going to launch in the next 2 to 3 months. You'll be surprised, this is a government building. And normally what happens is that government is something where it's not exactly encouraging you to do things at a world-class level. I mean, if they give you a budget, it'll be in such a way that there's such restrictions that you don't even know how to spend it. I was just asking Dr. Palkar, how are you going to spend that 25 crores? Are they going to put it in a fixed deposit and then work on the interest? Or, effectively nothing is spent because nobody agrees that, this is the right way of spending, and then you send it back. So it's chaotic, it never works. So we told the government that you will work according to our design. Now this is not something that anybody and everybody can deliver. But if I tell you that this is an amenity building, you will be shocked. The way we've designed it is very interesting. It's 250,000 square feet of a building that is going to house all these entities that I've talked about together. So the space has to be large enough. You can't start with some small space and say, okay, this is an incubator, it doesn't work. There is a minimum space that must be required to be able to do experimentation. If I want to have a 3D printer, or if I want to have equipments, the laboratory and whatever, it has to be large enough. Everyone will claim that we have equipments, we have this, but it's all some... Like in my engineering college, we had a Babcock-Wilcox boiler which still exists, which my grandfather also saw and which I saw, and it should be in a museum, but it's still there in my college when I was there, a few months ago visiting. And those of you who are from Walchand, it's a government college, but still, it's sad to see that we're still with some age-old equipments. So this is the interiors. These are not photoshopped. This is actually the interiors that I got them designed. So this is how, this is a government space. This is an incubator that we have designed. This is now ready. This is the reception. These are the conference rooms. These are the workstations, and so on and so forth. So I'm just trying to tell you that we have to make it world class. Its packaging is the name of the game. You cannot do without packaging. Today you're not going through the Sarvajal Abhiyan that we had planned. So what we did was effectively, because of that, in fact, we took the water as the subject. As we understood the entire problems of what farmers were going in Maharashtra, we realized that the first thing they have to be given is skilling. And therefore, we embarked on that mass skill project, that 3 lakh farmers in 18 months, and we'll keep on developing this at a very fast level. But skilling is not important, you also need funding. And therefore, we have, with the government, the World Bank has committed about 2,500 crore rupees of funding to be availed to the farmers, so we are a part of that program also. So now funding is secured. The third thing is you need advisory services. You can't just tell a farmer, here's an innovation, I'll put some product in your farm and now, some wonderful thing will happen. The farmer needs to be told right from how to plant his seed to exporting or to selling. You need a whole entity for that. So you need skilling for that. You need him to understand what is group farming. You need him to understand how do you make a business plan and so on and so forth. So how do you give that advisory services, handhold the farmer up to that level where he's ready to sell in the market. You also need community, which means that his wife, his children, the society around, the village around, they all have to come together to make a difference. So that's something that we encourage. You need a platform like events to sort of ensure that his product or produce can be displayed or gets an opportunity to be sold to the potential customers, whether it is in India or overseas. And then you need tech. You talk of Industry 4.0, what about Agriculture 4.0? How do you get them to speed to that level? Otherwise, on one side, the urban areas are flourishing and you have in the rural side completely age-old practices which they will be left behind. So this is a case where we actually are embarking. We have the entire success, I will say, to a great extent. And I think in the next 5 years, we will see a revolution in Maharashtra as a result of this. And similarly, we are working on on various sectors across the state and outside as well. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. But as I said in the beginning, that I would seriously encourage you to reach out to Lakshmi. There is an email there, info@DCF Ventures. And if there's anything that you need from us, if we are able to help you, we'll try. But this will happen over a period of time. It's not immediately. So be patient with us because there's a long list of people who are now where we are catering to them and seeing how we can serve them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that very exciting address that you gave. May I request Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Nitin Karmakar sir to give the presidential address for today's program and inaugurate the program.
Good afternoon, and I welcome you all for this innovation conclave organized by our Innovation Incubation Cell. In fact, the new University Act came into existence in 2017, and one of the mandates that was mentioned that we should have a separate cell for innovation incubation. But incidentally, prior to that, university was doing many things. Maybe a seamless integration wasn't there probably, but we are doing certain things of this kind. I remember in this very hall, generally innovation starts happening when the NAC starts coming. When the NAC, about those days, about 120 odd projects. And we had a tough time in screening, doing basically the selection of it and all. We took the help of TAI, in fact. In fact, formally we got an MOU signed with them yesterday, but they've been working with us for last 2-3 years. And out of the 25 final projects, they mentored them of which 5 we shortlisted. And I'm happy to say that despite the fact that we made many sort of these things to them that we'll provide you this, that and everything, barring providing space, we didn't do anything because everyone basically to promote them and all that, to keep them happy, 50 lakhs, 70 lakhs, these were the money that was talked about and all that. We haven't paid them a penny. But despite that, I must say that out of the 5, 3 are successful entrepreneurs today. And they're doing it on the campus. They're part of this incubation cell as such. So it's not that university wasn't doing it. Probably we didn't know the exact process, or probably the SOP was not known and all that. The university has been doing, there's a talent present in almost all departments as such. And therefore, especially when this was made mandatory, I was very happy. And the first thing I did was to visit many such incubators. One among them